Need to turn that on. Good afternoon and welcome to the Natrona County Parks Board meeting, Advisory Board, for August 11th, 2022. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call. Rob, we'll start on your end.
Rob Hill, present.
Jim Miller, present.
Stuart Hill, present.
Doug Irvin, present.
All right, let's go for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Screwed one. All right. All right, the minute meetings from the last time around, from July 14th. Any questions, changes? I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second that.
All right, we have a second. Any other questions, concerns? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And the minutes are approved. Mr. Parks Director, Michael, how are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Why don't we go ahead and start up with the mountains?
All right, so the Casper Mountain Trail Center, Amundsen Associates has sent it out to get a professional cost estimate prepared for the concept as it was presented last time. Once we have that, I'll present that to the Board of County Commissioners to review. Once that's accepted, and then we will post it for public input and get the public's comments on it. The next meeting I have with our county staff and architect is August 23rd.
Have there been any changes?
There were some minor changes after the meeting about a door exiting the great room onto the patio.
Okay.
And with that, we removed the hallway that was behind the office on the north side. So we expanded the office a little bit, and they planned an IT closet in that area as well. Those are the only real changes I have at this time.
Fantastic.
Yeah. The Wayfinding Signage program, I'm still waiting on the contract from the county attorney. I have not had the opportunity to follow up on that and see where we're at with that, to get that awarded. So that's the extent of the wayfinding
Okay.
vehicular signs. The bear trap shelters, I'm waiting on a site plan from the engineers. I have submitted a Wyoming Outdoor Recreation Grant application to the county attorney for review. That needs to be submitted by August 30th. In that application, it's for supplemental funding for the construction of 2 additional shelters. The Board of County Commissioners approved a budget that had enough funding in there to construct the east shelter. So I'm using that funding as the matching funds for the grant. The total grant money I requested is $700,000, and I have $120,000 in the budget for shelter and $20,000 for picnic tables and fire rings. So I've combined those two as our match, which is 20%. So that helps us score higher on the application. So if we're awarded that grant, I'll have a total of $840,000 to construct 3 shelters and purchase picnic tables and fire rings, which could potentially cover the entire mountain, all the campsites.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
It would. As you've seen, probably some of the tables and fire rings, they're at the end of their life and they need to be replaced. So
What type of material on the picnic tables?
we're looking at the expanded metal, the coated expanded metal. For one, snow load on them helps out, and they're just a lot more durable. The concrete tables are great, but they're heavy and they fall apart. And wood tables end up being carved
out.
into, splintered out,
Burned.
burned. So we think this is the best choice for that. And so that includes number 4, the Casper Mountain campsites, the tables and fire rings, which I just spoke about.
Great, thank you, sir.
Crimson Dawn, I don't have any update on the MOU. I actually am drafting a list of items to discuss with the county attorney and see where they're at. Just haven't got to that yet. The Summer Trail Master Plan, I'm still waiting on their final draft of the plan for us to review and adopt or modify. And as soon as I get that, I will present it to the Parks Board for review. And then we will present it to the Board of County Commissioners. Rotary update, that's still in with the county attorney. I haven't heard anything on signing of the easement. My budget, there's a line item that we didn't request, but I think it's $11,500 for Rotary Park, whether it's trail repair or signage. I still need to get some clarification as what the intent of those funds are for, but they're designated for Rotary Park. As you all know, the Biathlon Nationals are still scheduled for March of 2023. I'm waiting on some requested info from the Casper Mountain Biathlon Club to kind of get a better understanding of how it's going to operate and whatnot. So,
Is that request still August 13th?
what's that?
Is Rob supposed to get to you by August 13th on those
I actually
questions?
had requested his information by August 11th, which is today, because the next work session with the commission is on the 16th. So, and I actually went up there yesterday and just kind of did a cursory review of the area, condition of targets, condition of sites, buildings, and things like that. So I've got some input as to the operation of that and how some things need to be maintained a little bit better. So we're looking at that. The
So
other
is there a date that is there that if this doesn't come together from Rob getting with you or the VOCC of terminating that championship, or?
At this point, I don't have a date. I will probably have more information once I meet with the county commissioners a little bit more in detail on it. We're trying to schedule another meeting with Rob to get some more detail and sit down and lay down some things. So right now, that's kind of the extent of it. But no, there's not been a formal deadline or anything on that. And there's nothing in the application to the USBA that specifies there's a certain date if you can't meet certain things. So we're working on it. It'll be a great event if we can have it. I'd like to have it here. It's just a matter of what needs to be done and who's gonna do that work and who's gonna fund some of those improvements that would be needed. I've looked into costs. For example, if the county does a grooming over there for the event, 5 days plus days before that for preparation, between the fuel, the cost of my employee, and the cost of the machine, it's anywhere from $24,000 to $50,000. So and I haven't presented that information yet to the commissioners. So that's part of what I've been gathering is what is the county commitment that's being requested, and can we do that or can we not?
If you're gonna put a group together, I'd volunteer to help you on that.
Okay.
So the CNBC just has not been responsive?
Not to the level that I requested. I did get initial response on what the club would like the county to do, but I did not get response of course maps, site plans, sanitation plans, parking plans, shuttle plans, any of that. So he sent me an email requesting what he wanted from the county, but he didn't send me the other
Okay.
information I wanted. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Right.
We've got an issue on the mountain with what is being put into the garbage cans there. A lot of campers utilize these portable sanitation buckets with the bag in them. And then they tie off the bag, which is human waste, and put it in the dumpsters, which is not allowed. You can't put human waste in the trash cans. So, I just want to get the word out to the public that this is not allowed. I don't have a solution for it, but it's starting to become a regular issue, so that's why I wanted to address it here.
That could be a real nasty situation for our folks up there,
Yeah,
trying to dump the, oh, man.
yep. So, we have plenty of facilities throughout the campgrounds. They're not extremely far away from all the campsites, so there's outhouses to be used, but these, basically is a waste bucket with a bag in it, so that just can't be done. So I thought initially I'd bring it up here, maybe the public will hear me.
Good idea. Before we go to lakes, any questions on the mountains? Dave, you have any questions, concerns? No, okay. Anything from the commissioners? On the- Okay.
Mike pretty much covered everything. A lot of it's just, we're at that developmental stage, so there's really not a whole lot, to add at this point, because we get everything finalized and move forward, so, very attractive.
Yeah, it turned out pretty well. Some of the folks I talked to sounded like it was a smaller audience than in past years. But, yeah, it turned out pretty well. My office is looking into some solutions with the reservations out there, and whatnot. With Bear Trap, it's really probably gonna be better if people that attend Bear Trap in the campsite have their reservation through Sunday night to where they're leaving Monday, because we had a couple of campers trying to come in Sunday after 3. It's still going on. There's it's congested. It's hard to drive through there. So, we're looking at solutions with the reservation system to alleviate that.
Good, good. Roger, have a question?
That was my question. I was going to ask what your evaluation was of capacity and how the facilities up there were able to keep up with demand.
Yeah, I think it went over pretty well. Town Square Media does a pretty good job. There's a couple of overlaps with their security versus our campers that aren't actually attending the festival but are in their camp spot that we're working through. We are reviewing how much staff we actually need throughout the festival. We could probably cut out 1 or 2 of our people that need to be there really for the festival. So, trying to improve efficiency of the Parks Department's involvement, but this is the first one I've ever been to. So, but it turned out pretty well, I think, for the most part.
Had good weather, huh?
Yeah, there was 1 rainstorm Saturday night, I think.
No bear activity?
Not that I'm aware of, no. I think there was enough people that the bears wanted to stay away, so.
Good. Any more questions or concerns on the mountain before we move on? You're good. All right, let's talk about the lakes.
So the Pathfinder campground improvements, which we're planning on constructing the dye-based campground and boat ramps this year. The concept plan is on the website for review. It's been up there for a little while. I have received 0 comments on it at all. The engineer's on track to issue the advertisement for bid, hopefully by the end of the month, which if that happens, then we're looking at sometime in October of possibly awarding a contract and getting them started out there.
Excellent. Yeah, we really could sure use the public to take a look at that plan and give us some, some comments. We think we're doing the right thing, but we sure need the public to help us out there a little bit. So maybe somebody will pick that up and help us a little, because that's a great piece.
And, Michael, is that linked off the main parks page, or is it off the updates?
That's
It's on the homepage news, wherever you.
yeah, I think it's on the homepage news, and you can just click on it right there, and it'll take you to there, so it's,
Yeah, just wanted the public
Yeah.
to know how to find that information should they be interested, so it's on the news page.
And what is that URL?
not quite sure. It's probably long.
Natrona.net, is that correct? No, it's,
Oh, the main website is natrona.net.
no.
NatronaCounty-wy.gov.
Oh.
NatronaCounty.wi, no, -wi
.gov.
All right. I think we got it.
I'll put another link out there.
Okay, thank you, yeah. Thank you. Alcova.
So, the Bureau Rec, does concession reviews for our concession contracts. I think they try to do them annually. I was out at Alcova today, with the Alcova Marina. We did that review. Really minor things came up. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll be at Pathfinder to do the Pathfinder Marina concession review. This is something the BOR requires, and there's just really minor things for the most part, but it's a chance to sit down and discuss future plans, what they've done so far, what corrective actions they made, if they haven't been reported from the last review. And the Parks Department and the Bureau Rec will be walking through the cabins, doing a review of the cabin areas in October. What they call that is a compliance review. A lot of what the Bureau Rec is looking for is safety type issues. Stairs that have so many steps that don't have handrails, propane tanks that are not secured appropriately or setting underneath a window or an air conditioner, things of that type. They also have included in the report for the trailers, minor maintenance issues, weeds, if the building needs painted, things like that, just an overall making sure that things are being taken care of.
Good.
And so,
Okay.
once I receive that, and then I'll issue any compliance concerns from VR to the individual lot permittees. So we did this last year in the trailers. I got the report about a month ago, and I'm going through it to write letters and submit those issues to each lot permit. But there's 155 of them, so some of them didn't have any issues, and some of them had minor ones, but I have to work through that, issue all that to them. So, Cordes Road is now open from Alcova to Cottonwood. The road is slow, somewhat rough, because they've replaced culverts and tore up some of the pavement. They won't pave it, they'll pave it all at once. So, but you can get there now. You don't have to drive through Fremont Canyon to get to Cottonwood, so. And then the last thing I have for Alcova is I have a meeting with the Cabin Owners Association Board on August 15th. A lot of what they want Justin Smith, the building official, is going to it as well. It's about fire mitigation and what they can do to maybe put protective borders around some of the cabins, what should be removed, and to improve that, if, just basically fire-wise kind of stuff. So we're gonna have a meeting with them on that.
Fantastic. I know a little bit about that, yeah. It's, so we have some trees right up next to the cabins, and that place will go up in a minute.
Yeah.
All those
And they're the
places.
juniper, so
Poof.
once they light up, it's not stopping it.
Yeah, the fire engine can never get there quick enough, nor could it stop a cabin from burning, I don't think. All right, any other questions on Alcova? Rob?
Quick question, yeah. The middle dock there at Okie Beach, does that come loose sometimes a little bit? I noticed that last few times, it kind of gets turned sideways and,
At Okie Beach?
yeah, I've seen it a couple times and it looks like it turns sideways enough that it could go into a boat that's docked on the longer ones. I was just curious if that's kind of hard to maintain or.
You know, I was thinking those were pretty much fixed
Or they,
structures at Okie Beach, but I can have my maintenance crew check on that and see if there's anything going on that we're not aware of.
yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. I think, I was out there and I know there'd been some wind and I don't know if that does it a little bit too, but just maybe something to think of so that somebody's boat doesn't
Yeah.
get hit or something.
And we're doing the best we can with the boat dock at Pathfinder, but the water's still dropping at a pretty regular rate, 6 to 8 inches. One side of the boat ramp, the concrete's ended, so we blocked that off. I think there's 2 lanes on the other side. Pathfinder Boat Club assisted us in resetting the anchor. There were some issues there. They kind of lost control and drifted, so it wasn't quite where we wanted it, but it's working. So we may have to reset that again. The benefit to Pathfinder being so low is construction of the new boat ramp this winter. So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic for that, but we could sure use to keep that water too. But yeah, the river is flowing. Thanks, Rob. Good observation. Anybody else? I don't think I have anything else on Alcova either. It's been a great summer. Camping reservations going well?
Seem to be, yeah. Yep. Yeah, they seem to be, I think people are understanding the system, and we've been able to help the ones with, questions, but the issues have decreased significantly from last year, so. We still get the odd ones and, people that reserve a site and they don't fit, so they take another site and whatnot, but we work through those as we can. And we're trying to improve the information on each campsite for what size trailer fits and things like that, but Parks Department has 6 full-time people, so it's full-time job just keeping everything afloat right now. So the extras kind of get delayed at times. So.
Fantastic. All right. Move on to comments from the public. We have no public tonight. From our liaison from the Board of County Commissioners, any comments tonight, sir?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight. All right. We'll go to board comments. So, Rob?
No more comments. No more comments, thanks.
Jim?
I just have another request. We've talked about this in our last couple of meetings, of the possibility of, with Rob coming on, not having really, what is expected for him to be on his role, or anybody's role on the board. We've asked the county commissioners to come up with something of what they expect from us. I don't think we've seen that yet. I don't know if Eric has got that, our attorney, or is there something printed?
It's a good question. I don't know. I once received a book from the county on that, but I have to go back and look and see if I can find it.
Dave, could you look into that to see if there's something available? And
There was at one time a list, but a lot of the items that were on there have been relegated. It's probably the easiest way to put it.
Okay.
and see if I can get something.
You know, with the election coming up, we could have a whole group of new people, and it would be nice to have everyone on board. I know you're gonna be you're here, so.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just, I think it's,
And I think a lot of that stuff in the past may have got thrown out with baby water, you know, may have got thrown out with the wash when one of our previous directors was going through things. I don't know. Because a lot of that stuff was kept in the park department and stuff like that, and there was a lot of items that got cursed, didn't necessarily need to be heard, but I'll check it.
okay, thank you.
So give me a little time.
Well, you got until the end of the month.
Got till Tuesday.
Yeah. I'll give them a little more.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Doug?
Just wanted to mention something that last Wednesday, Michael and I were at the Natrona County Outdoor Rec Collaborative meeting, and we had some nice discussions with the attendees, and especially with the city parks director. Had mentioned wanting to reach out to Michael on a couple of topics and see if there's some things that the city and the county can be more collaborative on in terms of, just for examples, seeing if there's any things we could do together to better advertise and sell trail passes at the cross-country ski lodges with Hogadon, see if there's any synergies we could do between advertisements or giving people price breaks on ski passes if they already have one or the other. And she's definitely sounded interested in exploring other avenues where both the city and the county could collaborate and increase our offerings to the public, or it simply increase the knowledge of what's available to the public. So I think that'll be interesting to follow up. Jim and I are going to reach out to her for picking her brain on their experience with campground updates, so we can look at getting some more information for the board and the Parks Department and the commission, re the bear trap water possibilities, and the city director had mentioned she also wanted to see about other collaborative efforts. So I think that dialogue will be opened, and hopefully it'll benefit everybody.
Yeah, and Doug, actually, I met with Zulema 2 or 3 weeks ago. She came out, and we sat down and kind of initially kicked off some of what you're talking about.
Great.
To see what we can do there. And right now, we're just in the initial stages of maybe looking into that, but yeah, anything the Parks Board wants to meet with her and get some ideas, that's great. We can, I think we can do something to kind of tie the whole mountain together, Hogadon, and, you know, some of our trails are on city of Casper property, some of the biathlons on the city of Casper property, so maybe with these initial conversations, I know in the past, I think there's been talk about having the county actually own that property. And I'm not sure where that's at. I know past commissions have had discussions with city council about it, but, you know, at some point, it'd be nice to actually have the county own all that property and that we maintain and utilize and whatnot, so, this might be a stepping stone to get there.
Anything else, Doug?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, I know in the past, they've forgotten about the leases up there with the city to the county, so it would be nice to own all that. Rob?
Thank you for letting me speak again. Michael, the school district is an end user on the mountain at the trail center, is that right?
Yes.
Do they help support that fiscally or at any level?
So there's been talk of it. I haven't seen any formal documentation. The last meeting that we had with the architect, Ray Cavalier from the school board, attended that, as well as Justin Kenner. He's the head coach for the NC Nordic team. And so they're starting to be involved more, but as for a financial commitment at this time, I'm not aware of what that would be or whatnot, so, but I believe there's talks, and I think the last time they worked on the lodge and designing that, I believe there was a commitment from the school district to help fund the lodge.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I guess for my comments, statutory board is still on our plate a little bit. We talked to the BOCC and a year ago, and they gave us till June to really talk about the statutory board, but it's all kind of gone away. I don't know if you've heard anything, David?
Right now, it's on the back burner by quite a bit. Because of the cost associated with it, the transition and everything else, budgetary wise, it's a big expense. I don't think the county's willing to jump into it at this point in time. That's probably the easiest way that I can describe it, because it sounds like it's real easy, but when you start figuring out the total cost, having to provide a place for that statutory board to be, as well as all the other infrastructure. I mean, you can speak for that. You know, there's a lot of things that it's not, it's just, it all sounds really good right up front, but bottom line is, as tight as the county is right now on our funding with the increase in cost of everything. I mean, shelter, or prime example of how much everything has gone up right now. It's just not a time that we're willing to look into that or pursuing that because of the cost and expenses associated.
Okay. I think having a list of jobs, tasks as a board that we're supposed to be doing would really help us. Seems like, we were involved with everything, then all of a sudden we get a new board and they all start doing things and projects kind of get off track. So that's what we really saw as the reason for the statutory board, is that we could keep the parks moving forward and keep everything, all our projects going one direction without a lot of interference from elected officials at times, who have their own pet projects maybe. But that's something we can definitely keep looking at, I guess, as we go down.
I think part of the problem we had in the past is not having, going through transition of parks directors,
Yeah.
having parks directors in the past that they didn't really have, they weren't managers. That's, that was the easiest way to put it, and that's one of those things, that's what it takes.
Well said, well
Yeah,
said.
I mean, that's the easiest way to put it. So
Mhm.
now we're limiting the cooks.
Good.
And we're getting a menu together. And that's, once we get that, that's kind of where we need to go.
Absolutely. Well, we sure appreciate the support of the BOCC and what they've done for Michael's position. It's not a recreation manager. You're not working on any tennis courts or volleyball courts or anything. You're a land manager.
Exactly.
And
And
it's
that's
just,
how you have
it's
to
a
operate
different,
this.
yeah.
So,
It's just a completely different gig. And we're very appreciative of what you've been doing. Done a very good job, and you're right, having somebody stable in here and knows where we're going, that's gonna help the county a lot. Any other?
I hope that answers your question.
It does, yeah. And you know our concern there, and that's just it, so.
I do very well. And I think we're moving in the right direction. It's just a slow process,
Yep.
unfortunately. A lot slower than I'm accustomed to. So,
well.
Yeah, well,
and-
government's slow.
And Stuart, when I was asked to look into statutory board and how to do that, my actual recommendation was a phased approach,
Mhm.
with the first step being figuring out who the parks director is going to be, and allowing them time to kind of get the department up and running the way they thought, and then taking it in steps before you, if it's required to go to a statutory board, and that's the way the commission wants to go, and then we got to do it in a phased approach. Otherwise, the success of it's gonna fail.
Yep.
If you just drop it right now, it will not, there's a high likelihood it wouldn't succeed. And if we need to go to statutory board, then we want to make sure that it's a successful process, and it's gonna take time, probably. I don't remember what I wrote, but I think it was a 2 to 3 year process,
Yep. And we're on our way.
so.
That's good.
If-
Just want to keep
yeah.
it up front.
Yeah, so, I mean, but, yeah, there's significant cost impacts to it, too, so, yeah. Definitely want to take it step by step, make sure it's done right, make sure the commission's on board with it, make sure it can be funded appropriately, and get that going, so.
Fantastic. We're here for the public, so we can bring these projects to the public and get them vetted. And, I know that nobody's here tonight, but I know they're watching, and they do appreciate us doing these. We need to be out front with all these projects. Please go look out there at the Pathfinder piece. If you're somebody who camps at Pathfinder or knows somebody who does, please go look at those plans. They're pretty neat. We could sure use some comments. Any other comments?